Welcome back everyone to Battletech Advanced 3062, and today we've got something hopefully a little bit easier than the last battle we took on at Terra itself. We've gone and moved all the way over to the Taurian hegemony in, well, near periphery space, and we're going to be doing a bit of a battle against pirates, nothing too challenging here, hopefully. So, if you did notice, during the last battle on Friday, we ran into a particular king crab piloted by one of the BTA mod developers himself, and, well, this king crab is now ours. We got it as a mission reward for completing that battle, and we will put it to very good use here. Slight modifications: I removed the piercing SRMs in exchange for a C3 master to give increased resolve gain for all lance members and accuracy. We also have El Duce in a newly modified Atlas designed for long-range indirect fire support, although we do have two ER large lasers here as well. Now, Thunderbolt 15s and Thunderbolt 5s are not my normal fare, but yeah, we started out House Merrick, and Thunderbolts are the House Merrick faction store special, so I figured why not give them a try. Well, that's pretty much all that's new, I guess. We didn't actually lose any pilots from our last mission, even though they did technically die and would have died, along with two of our mechs that we wouldn't have ordinarily been able to recover, except that that mission, as unexpectedly challenging as it was, shall we say, was insured by Comstar, so that we didn't lose anything from it. Yeah, it does take away a little bit of the suspense, but you know, it was nice. I think the mission difficulty label was definitely lower than what the actual opposition merited, so it was generous of them to sort of give us a little bit of padding in that regard and allow for really completion of a mission that we were just barely able to qualify as, well, as competent enough to pull it off. So, we've burned most of our nest egg, bringing the king crab online, modifying the Atlas, and burning over to the Taurian hegemony, and this mission offered a payout of not 1, but 2 million C-bills. That's just the nominal price. So the reason I bring that up is that we are almost out of cash, and we need cash. Ordinarily, by this point in the campaign, you'd want to be really prioritizing salvage. Oof, they have Thunderbolt missiles of their own, if I'm not mistaken. You'd really want to be bringing online lots of different mech chassis and all of that, but we're taking this for the cold hard cash because it will float us a little bit, and because, well, the main prize for us at the moment is the Taurian Hegemony faction store. That's what I want to see. It has, in theory, excellent targeting systems that would really boost our landscape abilities above what we're currently able to manage, and that is what I want us to get to as quickly as possible, and then be able to afford once we get there. So don't worry too much. The next couple missions we will be taking for salvage, but in the meantime, it's a bit of a break from the hey, shiny new chassis grind, and that's okay. I think we have pretty good support. We really can't field too much heavier or bigger, I guess, of a lance than we currently are, because we'd run afoul of our maximum deployment tonnage. So we do need to do some upgrades to the Argo. Those cost cold hard C-bills as well. So it's a bit of a strategic pause, shall we say. Primitive Archer, don't see that every day. And, okay, I like picking on that Centurion for that AC-20 I want to get off the board, so let's keep shooting there. Delivery AC-5, making 2 out of 3 shots is a little bit over what I had expected. Usually I assume that it'll at least feel like we're landing fewer shots than the numbers on our mechs would tell us. Now, this is an interesting one. So, the Dervish can only bring online its Narc launcher. We can fire either Haywire or normal ammunition. Now, the normal ammunition marks the target. We already have a tag mark on there, so this would be a second marking. They do stack with each other, but not with themselves. Or Haywire will increase his heat generation and slow his movement speed, which I think could be a good thing for us as well. But just to get the, I think what we'll do, we'll start with the normal Narc, improve our accuracy a little bit by doing that, and then we'll switch over to the Haywire. So, fire away. And no joy. Hard to tell, but I don't think we hit them. Those don't really do any damage, so we'll have to take a look at what the Atlas can do. And let's see, that's horrible, horrible accuracy. Take a look in at our hit chance. Yeah, enemy effects -1, that's from the tag. Obstructed, height difference from forest, target move, move self, sprinted, size delta. Yeah, that's not great, but we have a lot of ammunition, so we're going to go ahead and fire it. Except for the large lasers, I don't want to hit our own men. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oof, yes. Our Thunderbolt 15 launcher took out theirs. That's, well, rather ironic. Looks like enemy reinforcements, or at least another enemy lands on the field. And the Bombard has lost one of its arms, just shot clean off, which, yeah, I'm quite a fan of that. That works well for me. I'm going to reserve down just the once I want our Thunderbolt to be able to move, and now he can. That's obstructed, that's obstructed. There's a clean shot. Let's get up here and get moving. So another thing we did do is we now have the maximum allowable, well, morale, I guess. We're in that bracket. We're not at 50 out of 50, but we're at 41. This does give us increased resolve gain every turn, so you'll be noticing a higher number of called shots than previously, and that is something we can definitely take advantage of to make our lance even more deadly. I think, let's see, the 72.5% chance. I think we're better off split on split mode than linked. Plus it looks like, well no, the damage mitigation there shouldn't be any. A little bit confused why it's 43 damage, but sometimes the readout can be a little screwy. Let's land that C3 Master, and yeah, there we go. We sort of hedged our bets a little bit, landed 3 out of 4. That's better than if we'd fired 1, hit 1, fired 1, missed 1, with the linked characteristic. So that works pretty well for me. We have another mech coming up, PPC shots, 1, 2, pounding into the ground. No joy for them. Works for me. And let's see if we can take something offline here. We need to start doing that real quick, ideally before those reinforcements land, although admittedly the odds of them being allied to our pirate buddies here is decently low. It's not 0. And once again, I am kind of missing the cluster setting on that old LBX AC10 we had on here. I might switch it back to that, to be honest, if I'm not pleased with the Ultra AC5. Well, but those SRMs made good damage, and we did get an ammunition explosion, took out the mech. First one down, looks like 3 left to go. We're a little bit heavy for this drop. The reason for that is that, well, mission difficulty is capped depending on your faction reputation, and as we're working for the Taurian Hegemony, who we haven't yet worked for, well, our top mission difficulty is 3 skulls, which is what we're currently running. So right now, it's unfortunately the best that we can do. To keep pounding away at that Centurion, I really don't want his AC-20 to be online next round. Well, not if I can avoid it anyway. And that was a good smattering. Damage was mostly scattered, so we shouldn't expect too much. It does look like we hammered one of those side torsos pretty hard. So that works for me. I'm hoping our Atlas will be able to follow that up decently well. We did get Snark Launcher on him, so that's a good thing. Let's go ahead and wait to 3. I want the Atlas to have first shot, mostly just to see what it can do. I'm not entirely sure I'll be thrilled with it, and yeah, we need a better missile targeting system on this guy before it's really going to be a phenomenal thing to shoot with. So I'm only choosing the Centurion because we can turn on the ER larges. That will make up a little bit for that slightly better. Oof. Yeah, okay. Rolling hot with the Atlas today, and that's alright with me. So, wow. Yeah, pounded right through. The only issue, in my opinion, with these Thunderbolt missiles is that they can't crit seek like an LRM. Right? So LRMs, you got 20 shots going in, even with really high accuracy, or, you know, even with really low accuracy, you're still landing a fair number of shots on target, and each one of those has a chance to land a critical hit and make something explode, which is generally good for you and bad for your opponents. Gonna unload, probably, wow, a little unnecessary there, but that was quite a joy to fire. And I think I'll really, really love having this King Crab on our side instead of, you know, pouring through, well, the Orion that we're moving right now. The formal mission announcement, by the way, was that we had lost the Mac after that deployment. The only reason we didn't again was that it was insured by Space AT&T, or those of you, I guess, who aren't in on that joke, Comstar. Now, others will explain the reasoning for that better than I possibly could, but basically in the lore, Comstar is a theoretically neutral faction that theoretically doesn't have, ooh, here comes the reinforcements. Okay. I'm not sure, ooh, Comstar lands. Weird. But, yeah, speak of the devil and they'll appear. Comstar, in theory, just runs the, well, basically the jump point network and radio communications between planets, so they're kind of like your space telephone company or space AT&T. The fact that they stopped the clans at Tukiyid, notwithstanding. So one of those two guys, or both of them, well, they look like they have some serious movement range. That's what's making, well, the mission speed process at this incredibly clunky rate. So let's take a look. If we can. Oh, yeah, one of them's moving. Maybe there are 4 of them back there, it's just hard to tell. That primitive archer took quite a hard head hit. And it also has an exposed left torso with 2 LRM bins, and I'm guessing there's no explosion mitigation in here, so pounding through that side torso would be a wonderful way to kill that thing. That's a weird Mac. Okay, I'm gonna go off on a limb here and say that any Mac at 35 tons whose only armament doesn't deal damage is not a well-designed Mac. Call me crazy. Now, this thing has evasion like you would not believe. It looks like it's an engine with a tag on there, but still, there's so much more effective ways to use that tonnage. Well, think about it from a purely mathematical point of view, right? The tag, when landed, gives, I think the full tag gives a +2 to hit for everybody else. That's great, but if you're only fielding, I mean, they're fielding 6 mechs, so I guess the math does get a little bit better on it. But every shot that it can't take, so let's assume you could fit maybe 35 tons, 4 medium lasers on there. You'd have to justify not being able to shoot those medium lasers with the increased accuracy from your other mechs. And that increased accuracy is not against everything. It's only against what you hit with the tag if you manage to hit something with the tag. So the added gun, well, I guess the increase in damage expectation value per turn may not be as high as whatever, well, idiot engineer or idiot telephone company worker decided that that Ost Scout build was a good idea. It is kind of funny though, I do appreciate that. It looks like Comstar has dropped a full lance of 6, we just only had 2 on sensors to begin with. Given the state of the primitive archer and that last pirate blackjack BJ3, well, Comstar will be our main opposition here real soon. Most of those mechs are pretty light. It will mean that we'll run into a little bit of a size delta problem. Basically, we'll have a hard time hitting them just because they're so much smaller and faster than our main heavy hitters are. Our lance is good lance, don't get me wrong, but it is meant for those higher skull missions where assault mechs start to be the order of the day. This should finish off the archer, I have pretty much no doubt. Yeah, I had to say it. Oh man, I had to say it. Did we not even... No, we killed it. Ammunition explosion didn't go through. Well, I guess that happens sometimes. We'll reserve down to 4, and the reason for that is I want our Thunderbolt. Well, I don't know, we have a nice rear shot in the Blackjack here. Let's see if we can get the Marauder up and moving. That's pretty good. Now, here's where we're going to try to make good use of the linked core settings. So these improved binary lasers, put them back on link, that's 80 damage per, and we're going to try to pound right through that archer's structure. It does have 165 structure, that's from the Archer Rugged. Basically, it's just like, I believe it's Griffin Rugged as well. And not able to do it, but I think we put at least one of those. Oh, pilot panicked out. Works for me. Well, pirates aren't exactly known for their discipline, I suppose. That'll let's go on 3 with nobody else left in the field. So what we're going to try to do is mitigate size delta problem with a height advantage solution. So if you take a look now, that's pretty good. That's okay. Are they both in the same tile? Nope, just really hard to tell them apart. Firestarter and a Stinger Lamb. Yeah, I don't want that Lamb to go into his airborne mode. Instead, I want him to be, well, gone. Let's see what we can do. 1, 2... It's like 3 hits, and his armor's actually holding. Pretty good damage mitigation there, 32%. Did hit him with a pretty good pounding. Yeah, no complaints there, really. You can't always expect perfection out of these sorts of things. Now we could fire in, again, the back of this blackjack. Pretty good accuracy for it. But I really want that lamb gone, because these things can surprise you, and something with the mobility that Stinger Lamb will have once he gets his avionics on the way will be very difficult to deal with. And our luck with the Thunderbolts kind of runs out a little. The 2 big guys miss, but we did land both of the Thunderbolts 5s for 30 damage a pop, well, before damage mitigation, but still, it's not horrible. And we can get a direct fire shot right here with the Orion. Now again, size delta is going to be a huge problem, but I think it's still our best shot. Just try and get this guy off the field. Precision Strike isn't even helping all that much, but let's see what we can do. Yeah. Okay, LRMs are able to get us some good work there, and that is at least a little bit gratifying. Okay, how high? Yes. As much height advantage as we can get to mitigate range and size delta. This is a horrible shot, but let's go for it. Okay, I mean, we just keep landing these incremental little chip damage things, and that'll get us there eventually. Is there a way? I don't want the obstructed shot. Let's get in here. Centurion moving up a little bit dangerously, but I'm not expecting huge return fire. And okay, the Lamb is gone. That's good. That leaves 5 mechs remaining from Comstar and 1 from our original pirates. Although he seems a little bit preoccupied at the moment. He's turned around and is hopefully going to start shooting at Comstar lands. We'll have just a minute. Let me readjust here real quick. Alright. Okay, so watching that wheel spin is not exactly my favorite thing to do. Firestarter FS9H is disappointing to see on a Comstar Lance, as is the Spider 5V. Yeah, most of these are pretty vanilla. It's only really the land air mech that was anything spectacular. We didn't take this for salvage, so we're not going to get anything from it. Might explain the 2 million C-bill paycheck. And that's a DFA from the Osta Scout. Knocked himself over by the look of it, but did land on the blackjack, so hey, I mean, he's kind of doing his job, maybe? I don't know, we need a Highlander. I'd love to get some minimal risk death from aboves out on the channel. But can't always pull that off pretty well. So my concern is that we're just going to have a couple turns chasing down annoyances more than anything else, right? Like the mission last Friday, we're fighting against the Battletech Advanced guys themselves, getting absolutely pounded turn over turn, and that was, I don't know, at least for me, that was tense. That was excruciating. I mean, we lost max kind of thing. Those are the battles that you never want to have, but also kind of live for, right? Because the decisions there really matter a lot. They can be make or break. You learn something. You learn how to become a little bit better at the game. The decisions like pushing our Wolverine up a little bit over assertively that you know now that you shouldn't have made because they were mistakes, and mistakes cost. And this will probably not be that sort of mission. So let's get the King Crab up even higher if I can still get shot, and I can. Yes, we're adding a little bit to our range here, but I think we should still be within, I mean, the rotary Gauss rifles, they're Gauss rifles. They're still meant for long range fire, so that should be okay. I could shoot at the blackjack, but I don't want to because the pirates will take him out. We don't have a precision strike available this turn, but we can sort of approximate one by shooting at this downed Osta Scout. Now I'm going for the torso instead of the leg, and here's the reason. If I kill this torso, the arm's gone, and we'll travel into the CT. If I kill the leg, we travel into the CT. But I need to kill both legs to get Well, does that make sense, actually? Ordinarily it might, if there was ammunition you could go through or an XL engine, but I think the leg would actually be better here. No, well... Oh, I forget if the leg goes to the CT or side torso. Yeah, I'm just used to shooting with the side torso, so that's what we'll do. Okay. Looks like we ripped some decent chunks off of them. No. Where did those land? What did I hit? We hit the fire starter. We missed the Oss Scout, and all of that crunchy damage and parts falling off was on the fire starter next door to him. Oh, this is called bad place to stand. Man. Just go ahead and move, would ya? This reminds me of that episode a while back on No Work Full Pay, where we dropped in, we got to wait a bunch of turns in a row for the AI to kill each other. Turns out, enemy reinforcements that weren't actually on their side took out the lance that was our main objective. And once that was done, well, we were already standing in the evac point, so, mission over, hand me paycheck, I guess. It was kind of fun. It's, not something you see every day, so I wanted to make good use of it and not necessarily look a gift horse in the mouth. And if we get... Is it range that's killing us? Yes, range is a little bit killing us here. Let's move up. It's not very far, but it does improve our range bracket just a little bit on this Oss Scout, and see what we can do. I do like watching those things go over. Okay. That is satisfying. They may not have the highest performance, but it's certainly very gratifying when those things land, and at least right now, they seem to be landing a little bit above their stated value. This is probably just us rolling a little bit hot. So no doubt, when we really need that in the clinch, and we need to make, you know, all four, when we've got a 60% chance to hit, we're of course going to make none. But yeah, that's part of the fun of it as well, is kind of making like you're the crew of the Serenity in Firefly, right? Working job to job, trying not to get unlucky, and hoping you can keep enough in the bank to keep your mechs repaired and your pilots happy. At least I've thought of it that way from time to time, because I really like that series, and I was actually watching them a little bit last night. Picked up the book as well recently, hoping that's good, but haven't had the time to make it through it yet. Anyway, tangents aside, let's shoot at this Blackjack a little bit, because we have the best chances on him with our LRM-20. Yeah, that's some good damage. Pilot's bleeding out, so... Oh, pilot eject. There we go. Very nice. 4 mechs left, all of them light enough to make them not really too much of a challenge. And, of course, now that I say that, we're going to get DFA'd by one of them and lose a pilot, but before that happens, let's see what we can do. And this is why the improved binary lasers really, well, they are a significant improvement. That split fire mode is worth its weight in gold, because we don't really lose much damage potential, but we get to run it twice on the low odd shots and get a little bit more any given volley. In law of averages states it should work out about the same, but any given volley will have less of a swing if you take more shots at a smaller increment of damage. Okay, let's run the Dervish up close and personal. That is one way of getting around all of these penalties that we've got going for us, and we're going to launch the Haywire. I don't want this guy moving so much. Looks like the Haywire's probably missed. Ah well. We did what we could, and now what can we do? So, that's pretty good. Let's just go ahead and take those shots. Now our LRM is out of range on that because it's not a standard LRM, it's a clan LRM that we picked up in a really early mission. I think one of the first ones in the campaign actually. We're fighting a base defense mission and ended up going in against some clanners. And we picked up clan LRM-20. It weighs 5 tons instead of 20, which makes it worth its weight in gold for an early firepower multiplier, but the downside is that despite its label as a long-range missile system, well, it's comparatively long-range. Usually most clan tech in this game runs hotter and has shorter range than its inner sphere equivalent, but does offer higher damage output and often better tonnage. So LRMs for Inner Sphere work have one of the longest ranges of anything you can really find. Clan version, not so much. You can have, 50% chance shots with an Inner Sphere LRM that you can't even fire because you're out of range with the clan version. It's good balancing. I don't know. The clan ones tend to suit my style. This particular match, I'm a little cagey just because of our last fight, but also because the opposition here is so light, we're kind of taking them out as we get up close and personal. Usually I like to do mechs with big engines, going quickly, relying on evasion, positioning, maneuver warfare, and so the clan LRM-20s suit my style. But if you're looking for more of a gunline, long-range support thing, despite the increased tonnage of the Inner Sphere version of LRMs, they are a safer support option by quite a lot. In the clan versions, you'll be pretty much within range of direct fire, or at least not that hard to get direct fire shots in most cases, particularly because the AI does leave on stock jump jets on their stock mechs, as one would expect. So getting around minor terrain obstacles won't hide you as much as you think. So there are some advantages to the weightier tech. Another thing to keep in mind is that heat is also a bit of a tonnage tax sometimes. The way that I think about this is basically it depends on the heat sinks that you have, right? If I have single heat sinks, then every 4 points of heat is a ton. Well, beyond what I get for free off of the 10 heat sinks that come in my default engine. With double heat sinks, it's a little bit more generous. It's about 6, I believe. Not exactly double, but for balance purposes, if it was truly double, it would just be stupid. So with a double heat sink kit on board, you get about 60 heat for free. Everything above that is a tax for tonnage and slots. So even if the clan LRM 20 doesn't quite weigh as much, well, it is a little bit hotter. I forget quite what the value is right now, but it's significant. It's maybe a full heatsink and a half of the double heatsink kit system, so about 8, maybe 9 points of heat. Don't take my word on that though. Not entirely sure. Point being, you'll save 5 tons on the LRM, but you'd only really save 4, maybe 3, depending on how cool you want to run while being able to shoot it. And yeah, we just shot around Centurion. And yeah, I feel kind of badly about that, but well, should have gotten out of the way. Or maybe I shouldn't have put him in the way. It is what it is. Okay, so that rotary AC5, we are gonna now belt out all 6 because we're kind of closing out. I just want to, of course, kill him with the first one. A little bit of overkill. Fair enough. I don't really care about the salvage left over on an R60 anyway. And let's see if we can finish this off with our new King Crab. Of course, now I'm missing the gas right if it's on our Centurion, but there it is. Very much a good thing to have that King Crab on our side instead of on our enemies. And that'll be a successful mission. 2 million C-bill payout. Thank you all for hanging around. See you again real soon.